everyone, Dark Ramos here with the Volume Profile Nerd. I'll jump into my trade review for Friday, May 19th, 2023. Fridays, they're kind of not my best days. I think I'm just a little a little eager to trade before the weekend or something. But I had a great morning, but I'll kind of get into the trades I took later in the day. Basically, my prop firm renews on Monday. So I kind of threw a Hail Mary without really looking at the charts and looking at different things. And I felt a little bit dirty after I did it because it's not how I like to trade. But I did it anyways because I knew I was going to be able to reset on Monday. So I just thought to throw, like a Hail Mary. There's not going to be much consequences. But with all that, I still didn't like how I traded. The mindset, when I'm thinking like that, there's no there's no clarity. It's just wanting to enter trades, and even if there's no consequences, it just doesn't feel right to trade like that. So I'll go over those trades today, and basically I'll just give a quick overview of what I was looking at for the hourlies and dailies on ES and NQ. So ES, for the hourlies, I was looking at this 822, 825, 22 range right here. We rejected from it. No, we couldn't get above the POC earlier in the morning. Just rejected multiple times. Headed to the value area low, oscillated, and then headed to the value area high of this 428.5223 range, and just held it multiple times. So I got caught up looking for a long on NQ. Actually, let me go over NQ. So on NQ for the hourlies, I was looking at this 815, 817 range, and this 817, 818 range from 2022. And essentially on the morning, we couldn't get acceptance back into this range. So we headed back to the value area high of this range. We kind of oscillated in between the value area high here of this range and the value area low of this range. And, bull break, no follow through. Then we headed to the POC. Couldn't quite get there. And for me, this was a little bit of a sign of buyers being a bit stronger than sellers, because sellers should have taken it to this POC at 13,816. We held it once here. We held it another time here, and right here in this area is where I got caught trying to go long, because I just felt like sellers couldn't even get to the POC, so buyers should be looking to the value area high here at roughly like 13,88650, and I was completely wrong. This is when I threw a few Hail Marys and just got stopped out a lot here trying to go long. But we did end up getting right to the POC, and I made one last attempt here, but I made it too early for the long and got stopped out, which was a bit frustrating. But again, I'm going to be able to reset on Monday, but just didn't like how I traded due to the fact that I was in that mind state of throwing a Hail Mary. I wasn't following my own technical analysis. I wasn't patient. I wasn't waiting for the play to set up. I was just jumping in front of it. And and I paid for it and basically hit the max loss in the prop firm. But it's going to reset again. But I don't think I'll ever do that again, like throw a Hail Mary like that. Like it's not characteristic of my trading, so why would I do it? And so gonna probably nix that idea. Even if I do get to reset, I still want to feel good about the trading day. I don't want to feel like I just like blew or like had a really big red day or max loss in the prop firm like that. It just doesn't feel good. So, the morning was decent, and then it was just like Hail Mary, and boom, got stopped out thinking that we were going to head to this value area high. On the daily, this should also had me less aggressive with the buy. I wasn't paying as much attention to this, but we were under the POC of this 3.722, 3.1622 range. We couldn't get above it in the overnight session. Couldn't even test it in the regular trading hour session, and then just pulled back most of the day. And let me see. We had that little range. Let me see here. Looking now, we had this little range that I think I had drawn up. Yeah, and it did come into play. Let me look at it here. Yeah, this, right. Yeah, this was quite something. We literally, the low was the POC of the day, and I had a little 1 minute range from Thursday that I drew up, and it was this range here that kind of made the POC for yesterday's session, and we literally got below it and couldn't find acceptance back into that range. And after that, we bounced, and it coincided. So it was right here where we bounced, and that coincided with the 817, 818 hourly range here at 13,816, and that was pretty much the low of the day. So yeah. Other than throwing those Hail Marys at the end, I did have a good morning. I do feel like I'm getting better as a technical analyst and trader. And just watching price action on the morning develop, even on the short time frames, and using these hourly and daily references, it's getting interesting. It's almost, I feel like a sport in a way, like where you're watching what the different defense and offense is doing, and then you set up plays based around that. So yeah, I'll get into that. All right, so yeah, I'll jump into my trades. So yeah, basically the weaker sectors, XLF had a big drop. Kind of, let's see. Yeah, it was 11 Eastern. XLF had a big drop, and XLV was pretty weak most of the day, and QQQ, yeah, was pulling back. So SPY would have been the weaker sector, which it was. Yeah, so interesting day yesterday, and I'll go over a quick overview of the daily levels as well, but I'll jump into the trades I took and why I took them. So basically, I was thinking on NQ, I was thinking that, let me see here. Yeah, I was thinking that if we held this value area high of this hourly range, we maybe could get to the POC here at 13,978, and maybe retest the, first I was looking for a retest of this daily POC at 31622, this one here at 13,940. So I was thinking that could be a target for buyers to try to retest that level. We tested it in the overnight session, so I was thinking maybe buyers want to retest it. Yeah, and take out most of the overnight inventory, I would say. Yeah, but we did have some correction here. But yeah, we were above the open, and I was playing off some ranges. So let me go over the quick ranges that I had drawn up in a queue from yesterday. This 1 minute range here, this 1 minute range, this 1 minute range aligned with the POC of yesterday, and this 1 minute range. And yesterday we opened, let me see. Yeah, we did have a small gap up, actually. Let me double check that. So we opened, where did we open? Right here. No, it was slightly under the regular trading hours high, but buyers were positioned well to press the issue, being much closer to the regular trading hours high. And also ES was, I think ES might have had a small gap up open. Yeah, ES did have a gap up open, but ES wasn't going to get far without NQ seeing some strength as well. And then we had the weakness show up a little bit later in XLF and XLV. So let's go ahead and go over the trades I took. So I had those ranges drawn up, and they came into play really well today, I would say. So yeah, let's see, the morning, 8:30, right here. Okay, so we had the open. The open was, around here. And we just oscillated around the open. I did take an initial loss here. And this is a lesson in me being a little bit more patient on the open. So we oscillated. And once we got above the open and above this range, the value area high of this range, I entered long here. I should have recognized we were under the regular trading hours high as well. And I entered long here and got stopped out down here at the previous day close. Again, I'm only putting 5 points of risk. So, I did get stopped out there. But then after that, after I saw we were oscillating, and I tried again where we got above this value area high of the 1 minute range from the day before, and we held it. And so I entered once we got above it, I entered and I got risk free up here and then got stopped out here. So this was a risk free trade, just paid for commissions. And again, we did the same thing. We were just oscillating. And once we got above the value area high and the regular trading hours high, I entered long here, got risk free here. And let's see, 13. Yeah, and then I sold my last position here. And the reason I sold there was because it was the value area low of this 815, 817 range. It was around 1915, 1916. So I sold at 1914, kind of 25 there. I think my target was 1914 and I got filled at 1914, 25. Yeah. So those were my first plays. So I'm green on the day. This was a red trade, break even, but this trade had me nicely green, I would say, on the day. And I played with minis here. So I'm getting used to kind of playing with minis, and that's why I only put a very small risk, because if I'm wrong, I want to be wrong quickly, and just take the loss, and and that's the kind of the risk I'm willing to put on with the minis. So after that, I didn't trade that well. After that, I should have just taken the win for the morning because I was up pretty well. But after that, I did try to go short here on NQ. And at this point, I think I should have gone short ES. This was at 9.11 and ES. No, ES was still fairly sideways. So, NQ was actually weaker here. Yep, for sure. Because XLF and XLV were still holding up a bit. Yeah, they were actually. XLV had a big move in the morning and then was holding up a bit. But I did decide to go short NQ here because I felt like we got under the value area high of this 817, 818 range. And looking now, I'm not sure this was that great of a short. We just had a really big pullback. And if I look at the 15 minute, let me see here. Yeah, let me change this to the 15 minute. This was right here. Yeah, we just had a big, 15-minute pullback, so we couldn't anticipate a 15-minute lower high. And so my trade location wasn't that great here, and the expected value I don't think would be that high, given that we just had this big pullback. So I could have had a better trade location here, because we just boom. So more likely scenario was a 15-minute lower high. But I did enter short here under this POC of this range, and I got stopped out here. There's one thing I want to mention about this, actually, these first few trades. One of the plays that I'm getting a little bit better at is developing value. So for these trades, I think the better trade location would be the value area low here. Like once we don't find acceptance under it, I think it would be a bit more prudent to enter here to try to get to the other side of value up here. And that would be definitely enough to get risk free and then leave a small position to ride. So I'm just, working with developing value a bit more. We couldn't find acceptance below, entering here to get to the other side. And I think, I would have even gotten risk free here. And we did get a pullback, but then we got the move going. But either way, like playing off the POC or the value area low of developing value is something I think I'm getting a bit better at and observing, or it could be one of my playbook trades. And it's just the key with it is letting value develop for, relative to the time frame you're looking at. You want to let value develop for a good bit of time before having a bit more conviction in a breakout. So yeah, just going to be observing that a bit more because I do like it. Here I was trying that same idea, and the thing for me was playing off of, well, it wouldn't have been playing off of developing value because at this point we got the range and I was looking to play off the POC here to go short. But given the context of a 15-minute lower high being the more likely scenario, I think I could have held off on this trade here. Okay, so this next trade, this was a good trade. I think I used the minis for this. I can double check. This was at 9:14. 9:14. Yeah, I did. So I like this trade because I was using the 1 minute range, a range that I had from Thursday, and I entered near the value area low. So we got this big move up, we got the pullback, we held the value area low. Once we held it, I entered here, got risk free here, and made a little mistake here where I should have moved my stop to the POC. Instead, I moved it under the low of this 5 second higher low, this 5 second bull flag, moved it under there and got stopped out quickly on this, big aggressive, like 5 second wouldn't be that big, but on this 5 second kind of aggressive sell, and got stopped out as I was moving my stop. And my target for this was actually at the time, my target was close to the value area high, the value area low of 815, 817.22 at 914. That was my target, and we didn't quite get there. We got to 912.75. Yeah, 912.75. So I think I probably would have cut it after I saw it, like just watching the sideways range. Probably would have cut it somewhere in here. But I cut it, a little bit too early because moving my stop. And I could have gotten probably another, selling up here, probably another 10 points or so, which would be a lot on the minis. But I cut it here, or got stopped out because I moved my stop. And that was that trade. Then I tried one more time for a long because I thought we could get to at least 914, and we might even break through this hourly range to get to the POC. So that was my reasoning. But again, I should have had bigger picture context in mind with the 15-minute lower high. So that's something I'm going to continuously work on. And I'll go over kind of my overall mind state at the moment with trading and what I'm feeling, because there's a lot going on for me at the moment, or at least I think there is. There probably isn't, but I'm making more of it than it should be. But that's kind of what I'm thinking about at the moment with trading, and I'll go over that near the end of this video. Okay, so I actually cut this trade short. So I went long here, and I cut it here because I just didn't have a lot of conviction in this trade, especially after we got a kind of a big aggressive selling candle. And once we got back up near the high of the day, or the high right here, I just cut it because I didn't have a lot of conviction in this long. And I got 2 points on the minis. So on 2 contracts, so that was 4 points with 2 contracts, which is still a nice win. It's pretty wild, like with the minis. So got a little win there. And at this point, I'm looking pretty good. Like I probably don't need to trade anymore. I think for me this weekend, it's going to be setting a max, a daily goal number. And once I reach that goal, I don't have to trade anymore. So, because, I'll be up on the day and then I'll be like, oh, I want more, and I'll keep trading. So, after that, I was up over 100 MNQ points, I think, with these few trades, even with this loss here. I think I was up pretty well. It was either 100 or 120 MNQ points. So my next trade, after this, I played with the micros because I just didn't feel like giving anything back. So that was my last, here was my last minis trade. And then I played with the micros here. So here I took, after we got this pullback, I entered long here off the value area high of this 1 minute range from Thursday. And that aligned. So at this point, I should be a bit more cautious here because we are pulling back to the value area high of this 817, 818 range. But I entered long here. I got risk free here, and I sold another contract here at the value area low of this range, and that would have been a really nice short right here. In hindsight, like, would have been a super nice short. Yeah, up here for sure. Playing off the POC of this range, if we draw it up right here. Yeah, playing off the POC would have been nice. But yeah, I entered entered here, got risk free here, sold another contract here near the value area low, and got stopped out here. So that was a small win on the micros, or a decent win. And similar play here where we got this big pullback. We got back into the range of this 1 minute range I had from Thursday again. And at this point, I think I could probably use some more local ranges. Maybe, it kind of aligned with the value area low, the warning balance. But yeah, we got above it, got into the range. And once we got above the POC, I entered here, kind of a little bit of a late entry. We were kind of above the previous day close. And so I thought we could get to the value area high at least. So I entered here, got risk free here. Or no, let me see. 9.5. No, yeah, entered here. 9.6. Yeah, entered here. I sold a little bit early for some reason. I'm not sure why. I think it might have been a mistake, but I think I cut 2 contracts here. Sold another contract here near the value area high. We held the regular trading hours high and then pulled back, and I got stopped out here. So I think my bias was a little bit off in my using the levels. Like at this point, buyers weren't able to prove it. They couldn't even get to the overnight high. So I think plays off the regular trading hours high, or even off this upper range would have been prudent, looking for the sell. But I didn't go for the sell too much today for some reason. And I think I just had recency bias from the last 2 big bullish days. And 1 second. Had recency bias from the last few days, and I was just looking long, thinking, the tempo for sellers wasn't that great. So I thought buyers could just want to take over today for some reason. And we were also above yesterday's value area high too. And so I thought maybe buyers pressed the issue. We bounced here, we got above the open. We're holding this 1 minute range from Thursday. And I just thought, we're still above yesterday's value. I thought it could have been possible for buyers to take over. And also this is 9:38, and healthcare hadn't gotten its big flush down yet, and XLV was still holding up pretty well after its big move up. So I just thought maybe it's it could be a good day for bulls. And internals weren't super weak yet. We didn't have, it was very middling. We didn't have, at 9:45 we were closing above the 0 line. So yeah, I think I just either could have been more patient or had a better read on the day. Cause I think I was going too aggressively long at some points, and the short was the sell wasn't that prominent in my mind. So anyway, so that was that trade. Small wins here. And then, I gave some back on this trade. So we pulled back, we held the value area high and the overnight low. We got back into this 1 minute range that I've been watching. I thought was fairly reactive. It was reactive here, kind of reactive here. So I thought to play off of it. And let's see here. Yeah, so we got back into it, and once we got back into it, I looked to play off the value area low. And there's some good learning lessons here for me. When we're in a downtrend, what I should be looking for is for buyers not to prove it and for sellers to prove it, or sellers not to prove it. Um, yeah, what am I trying to say? Like if we're more in an uptrend and sellers don't prove it, then I think the buy is more prudent. But if we're in a downtrend and the buyers don't prove it, then I think the sell is the better play there. So in this instance, we got back into this range and I just went too aggressively long here, thinking we were going to hold the value area low because we couldn't find acceptance like below it. And, we rejected here and then we couldn't find acceptance below it. So I entered long here and got stopped out here. So, it's just, for me, I wasn't reading the room quite well. And at that point, I also thought maybe we could hold the value area high here, but we broke below it a bit, and I think I could have just read the day a bit better, or maybe been a bit more patient, or after I was up on the day, just call it and wait for a real A plus setup, like a really good setup. All right, so after this, I switched my bias short a little bit too late. Because we got under the value area high of this range. So we had this 1 minute range that I drew up. And once we got back into develop the value area of this range, I went short quickly, thinking we could get to the other side of value here, enough for me to get risk free. So I entered here and sold half here, and I sold another contract here near the value area low because I thought maybe we could hold it. And then I left a contract in case we do get to this 13,816 range, and we didn't quite do that. I got stopped out here on my last contract. It was a small win because I sold 3 out of 4 contracts and only got stopped out 1 contract. And then after this, let me see here. I'm gonna go ahead and hide this value area, or this fixed range. After this, I looked to go. This was not a great play again. I looked to go long once we got back into this range, but again, we're in a downtrend. And once we got into the range, I looked for the back test to hold the value area low here. And I think it's just because we're above yesterday's value, but we just oscillated around it. Buyers and sellers couldn't quite figure out what they wanted to do with that. So I entered long here thinking we were going to get to the POC and got stopped out quickly here. So that was right here. Yeah. And again, so I was a little bit annoyed with myself because at this point I kept forgetting that we were at the value area high of this range and we were back testing it. So I had no reason to go long. We were back testing the value area high of this 817, 818 range, and I had no reason to go long there. So I just overlooked the hourly structure for the long. We just held it pretty well here. And so, I got stopped out here. That was a full loss. And this is where I started to kind of, I think, not do so well. And let me think here. We're open. Yeah, we had multiple passes through the open also, like a lot of passes through the open, which could have shown me it wasn't going to be like a super high conviction day in either direction. But anyway, I took a loss there, kind of an oversight, not looking at the hourly range. And then I took another loss going long. And I think, let me see. Yeah, again, I think it was an oversight off. Well, at this point, we got above the value area high. So I'm thinking if we're going to hold that value area high of this hourly upper structure to head to the value area low of this structure here, of this 815, 817 range, then I was looking to play off the POC here to get to 13, 914, or maybe even to this range here. But at this point, we're below the open. So, I could have been more patient. And we're, in downtrends on larger time frames. And so, once we got above the POC here, we held it once. And I entered here above the previous day close. and got stopped out here. So this was 1021. Yeah, this was micros and using 4 contracts. So at this point, I'm giving back a good amount on the day. This one here, I tried again for the long. Once we got close to the value area low and couldn't quite get there, I entered long here, got risk-free here, and then got stopped out here. So that was a risk-free trade. And so at this point, I think I've given back like 50 MNQ points or a little more, but I'm still green on the day, and I think I should have just called it there. But everything before this was, I thought, okay, aside from a few trades where I overlooked some of the hourly ranges. I was still green on everything, all these trades before here. And after this is when I said, okay, you have the opportunity to reset your trading account. And I knew I was going to reset because I made a few mistakes earlier this week, and I just, was going to reset to be in a better kind of position. And so I said, I'm going to just throw Hail Marys. And this was later in the afternoon, and I was working at this time. And so I just threw a few Hail Marys, and that thought led to overtrading, led to tilt, led to lack of awareness, and led to, not good trading. And so the reason I was looking long, I went long multiple times here. And the reason was because I thought we were going to do something like this to head to the value area high here. But we held the overnight low, couldn't test the overnight low. And that should have been a red flag looking at that now. Like, oh my God, we couldn't even get to the overnight low. And so we couldn't get to the overnight low or the value area high of this hourly range. And we pulled all the way back to the POC that I was looking for initially to target here and here. But because we held it here and here, I thought buyers were stronger. And that wasn't the case. We pulled back all the way back to the POC, and then we got the bounce from there. So yeah, one of my, I'll go over it in the end here. But essentially just looking long off these 1 minute ranges I had from Thursday. And actually I drew one up, a more recent one here from today or from Friday. So I went long off the value area low, got stopped out here. I almost got risk free. This was kind of a little bit annoying. I think I was like less than 1 point away from getting risk free. Let's see. 6.2. The high was, I think I was 2 ticks away from getting risk free, which was, or 1 tick away, 1 or 2 ticks away from getting risk free, but didn't, and got stopped out here. Then once we got back into this 1 minute range from here, or 5 second range from here, I entered long here, did get a move up, and almost got risk free again. Didn't, got stopped out here. Then I went long here, and I think I almost got risk free again here. Yeah, almost got risk free 3 times. Almost got risk free. This was 5.3, so it would have been 5.8. Yeah, 5.3, 50. Yeah, 2 more tick points, and I would have gotten risk free. On this one, 62, probably like 1 point. Yeah, like 1 more point, I would have gotten risk free. So on all of these, I almost would have gotten risk free, but didn't, and got stopped out. And I'm playing with minis here, so my losses are piling up. And I tried one more time going long here. Again, I think I almost would have gotten risk free. 5.3, so 5.8 would have been risk free. Missed it by like 1 or 2 ticks. That's wild. Just maybe entering a little bit early, and I would have gotten risk free on these plays. But took 4 losses in a row here. And then I decided to flip short near the low under this POC. Entered short here thinking we were going to get to the value area low, and got stopped out here. And so took 5 losses in a row on the minis. And then I entered here for a short and got scared out, and I just sold here for just like 1 point, I think. And then I decided to go long here, and I didn't like that either. I decided to go short here. Yeah. yeah, I decided to go short here off the value area high, and that would have worked out really well. 51. Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten stopped here, but I cut it here, and that would have been the play. After all this trading, I just didn't have high conviction in anything, and we did get the move down, and this is when I hit my max loss in my trading account, and this was so kind of annoying for me because my target, I knew sellers were trying to get to the POC here of this hourly range at 13,816, and even to the POC of yesterday. And I had this 1 minute range drawn up from Thursday, and we held it here, almost got to it here, and this was just like, because of all the over trading, I put myself in a mindset of not like of lack of clarity basically, and I entered. We got the bounce off of it, so I entered long here, thinking we would hold it again to get here, rather than waiting for sellers to get to that actual 13,816 target. We had one more flush down, then we bounced, then we held it, and the long should have been here. And had I taken that long, and at this point I put on like 4 contracts because this was my real Hail Mary. I was like, all right, I'm about to hit my max loss. I know I'm going to reset on Monday. This is going to be a big Hail Mary. I'm going to use a big lot size. And I ended up getting stopped out here. My prop firm cut me here because I hit my max loss. So I didn't even get like the full stop. And that was it. I was done trading for the day. But that would have been the play. I just put myself in a weird mindset by taking all these trades and having lack of clarity. And, we held the value area high one, three times basically. And that was the low. This here was the low of the day. And we got a bounce from there. From here to this POC would have been about 40 points. On 4 contracts, that's 120 points. Obviously not getting the full thing because I would have chopped to get risk free, but we held this POC like perfectly. So I just had lack of clarity. I was thinking about like that Hail Mary too much, and that's never, trading without clarity is never a good recipe. If I have something in mind other than clarity, it's never ever a good recipe for trading, because I just I don't put myself in good positions. And I think I'm more prone to make mistakes. So yeah, that was my trading day yesterday. I was really annoyed here, even though that whole idea of the prop firm and reset, but still, it's just like my lack of clarity, kind of knowing what I was looking for, but not being grounded enough to wait for the trade to come to me. I just kept stepping in front of trades basically. And, and all these, I was close to getting risk free on quite a few of them, but I think I could have had a better read on the day. Like XLF and XLV are pulling back a lot at this point, or they have pulled back a lot. And I wasn't even checking the sectors at this point. I was just focused on NQ, and that's never good either. I get tunnel vision, and that's not how I want to trade. So yeah, those are my biggest lessons. That's my C game. So my C game was pretty off yesterday. One sec. Yeah, so my C game was off, and yeah, if anything, I feel my technicals are improving. I think my biggest improvement is my C game, knowing when to stay out of the market. And it takes effort to close down the broker, to not look at the charts, while I'm working and things like that, because I feel I am developing my edge and I'm watching it play out multiple times throughout the day, and it's hard. It's not even that great to say, because my edge is also watching the market and watching the nuances of price action. If I'm not watching the nuances of price action, then my levels aren't as valuable. My levels are valuable when I'm able to focus 100% of my attention on the market and then use my levels in congruence and in confluence with that. If I'm just like pivoting to the chart and watching the level and trying to play off the level right away, I don't have the context necessary to make a well thought out play. And sometimes, yeah, like when I just jump in and I'm just watching the chart, I sometimes lose sight of the hourly and daily ranges because I'm just so focused on this level has to hold. And it doesn't, like I have to look at everything else. And so that, yeah, with growth, with more reps, I think that's just going to be like a natural thing for me where I'm like, yeah, don't trade if you haven't been in tune with the market. So yeah, I'm definitely going to improve there. And I think that's just part of my C game. But on the morning, I felt really on point, even though I took a loss. First thing, I was like, that's okay. Like I was a little early, got risk free here, and then had a nice win here. And that was all just, watching the market, watching everything. And even here, I thought was okay. But I think I started losing the read a bit here because I had too big of a bull bias. And but I did get some nice wins, some nice longs here, and here. Small wins because I did sell 3 out of the 4 contracts. And I got a small win here. But yeah, here, like I just went too aggressively short, knowing we could have had a 15-minute lower high. This was an okay short. This short wasn't, or long, excuse me, wasn't great because I wasn't watching the hourly range. Same thing here, wasn't quite watching that hourly range as well. And we were right at an inflection point, which was that hourly value area high from here. Yeah, we were at like right here. Yeah, we were kind of at this inflection point. So I think I could have been a bit more patient for buyers to prove a bit more. And yeah, risk-free trade here. And okay. But yeah, and then after that, throwing those Hail Marys is where I kind of fell off a bit. So a lot of learnings from today. And just going to reset on Monday with the prop firm and try to take these lessons with me to finally, prove that I can do this. And that's going to be my goal. But lately as a trader, like I've just been feeling like, I don't know if it's good or bad. I'm not going to judge it, but these are the thoughts that are going on in my mind of like, nobody cares if I succeed. And I know that's like a very brash statement and maybe somebody does, like I wouldn't know because everyone's so focused on their own success. And yeah, like we have the education, but in the end, nobody really cares. Like everyone's focused on getting better as a trader themselves. That's what everyone's focused on. And so for me, I have to figure out like, what is my priority? Am I looking to be part of a community just to be buddy, like when nobody really cares that much and everyone's just trying to, succeed and make money themselves, even me, like I'm not trying to exclude myself from that because that's my goal. And so what I'm weighing out is the value of a community, of me being in a community, and if that's benefiting me at the time, and not knocking like a community or anything, because I think like it could still be super valuable for me, and it has been. But the thing with a community, like there's very few people that care about your growth in there, and I don't blame, like, because nobody has time to help every single person while also trying to grow themselves. And that's just how it is, right? Because it's a competitive sport. This is a game where each individual has to work on their own performance. And you could say it's a team game. Trading is a team game. I don't know about that because I realize like how many things I have to be aware of personally as a single trader, how many things I have to be aware of during the day that like in a community, it can be sometimes a distraction. Like if, like I have like sectors to pay attention to, tech to pay attention to. I have these levels that I'm watching on, I'm trying to feel the context and the tempo of the buying and selling. I'm looking at day time frame references. Like I have to be 100% tuned in to the market. And so watching some like other people post, like I don't know how valuable that is for me at this stage. And again, I'm not knocking a community because I felt like it's been very valuable for me. But at this stage, I'm recognizing what this takes, like the amount of mental effort and the amount of discipline this takes, that I'm just looking at that, right? I'm looking at if that that idea of a community still holds value to me, because and a lot of content is free on YouTube, and so yeah, like if anyone's watching this, like obviously I'm not trying to knock, but like I'm being honest, like I don't care to be honest with myself and what I'm feeling, because that's what's gonna, I feel, ultimately get me to the point where I want to be. And yeah, like yeah, everyone's trying to grow, and like and if there's no joy too, like if there's lack of, like if there's no joy in the community for me, or if there's you know like no communication, I feel at some points. And there are people who do care. I'm not trying to say there's none, because a lot of people have helped me, and I have, like, it's been helpful. But like at some point, and nobody teaches this, nobody says this, because like I think traders do want an audience. Like you want an audience to like see how good you are, and trading is totally egotistical. And I don't care if you say you don't have an ego when you're trading. It's totally egotistical. Like and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I accept my corruption with trading, and the fact that I'm trying to win at something that's not real. Like I totally accept that. Like, but I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't have an ego, because I do want to win. Like, and that's totally egoic. Like I'm trying to compete and beat other traders. Like, so I don't sit here and act like, I I don't know what this is. I'm aware of what this is. There's people who want to make money either educating or making money in the markets. Um, and TCG is the only community that I feel is more than just trying to, make money off traders. Like anyway, no, I'm not gonna get into that. That's, I could get some flashback from that, but and honestly, I'm only really sticking around, I think, because of Lamont. But anyway, sorry. Like this is me venting, and I don't mean to bash anything. Like maybe I am, but I just want to be honest and like recognize what this game is. You're competing to win against other traders, including like I don't think there's enough size in the community to like make a difference. Anyway, I'm going off a tangent, but this is where I'm at. Like, and I don't know if it's healthy. Like maybe I need to step back, because I'm just going through a lot of like weird thoughts about everything. And because yeah, I've put in the effort. Like I want to take the best route for me to grow. And so that's all I'm looking at. And if that means like not being part of a community, I'm not like, like that could be it. Like there's nothing wrong with that either. Like that's a decision. It's not good or bad. It's just a decision. So anyway, and maybe there's some grievance there that I have to let go of. So we'll see. But all right. That's all I got for today. Kind of a rant, kind of my longest trade review ever. But, there's a lot for me that I'm processing at the moment, and that's okay. Like it's a process, it's a journey, it's whatever. And I'm going to be honest with myself of where I find myself. And if it shifts, great. And if it doesn't, that means I like how I feel and I'm not willing to let it shift. And I want to let it shift. And whatever that looks like, as long as this feeling shifts, that's what I want, because I've been feeling like a little bit despondent and a little bit like annoyed, and it could be me. It probably is. So just venting, letting it out, because I know I have to let this energy go in order to feel better about myself and feel better about trading, and even feel better about other people, because I don't want to see other people in like a skewed light where I'm like annoyed and all this, and I do want to let it shift. So yeah, kind of like an esoteric, kind of like more broader idea or meta, whatever. It's not everything's meta if you look at it that way. There's like, what are you going to exclude from being meta? Like it's all me. So yeah, that's why I'm talking, and like I have to include everything to come out the other side, to convert it, to let it energetically shift. All right, so yeah, that was my trading and my thoughts on the day. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next trade review. Thank you.